Alright, so I wanted to make a video about dogs and what I'm learning. And one thing I really wanted to say. So Brandon Fouche is teaching me this basically. He's not teaching me personally, person to person, but he's teaching me through example. And what I'm seeing is a lot of it. I started with Cesar Millan. I'm just going to tell the truth about everything. I love Cesar Millan. Anything I say about anybody, Brandon Fouche and Cesar Millan are two of the people who helped me the most, and they're the people who paved the way for me, specifically in the dog area, along with everyone else alive who has created anything, and all the people who built the world I'm living in. Basically, they paved the way for me. So I'm grateful for everyone and everything that has helped me and gotten me here. I'm living in a place with wealth of knowledge all around me, wealth of things all around me, and that's because of people who came before me and basically did all that stuff. So I will always appreciate that. And that being said, our job, my job, people who are alive, we're always going to push it forward. So we're going to take it to the next level and see continue that evolution. And so with all that being said, Cesar, I want to say just how I got into dogs. And I was always just really into something about me. I was naturally born in a way that's like, I want to be the hero, I want to be the leader, I want to be the like the war hero, the soldier. That's like I always loved the hero in the movies, Braveheart, Gladiator. Those were like, that was like who I wanted to be and how I was kind of naturally to my friends at a young age and everything. So that's what I am like naturally, kind of. So not, yeah, in a positive way. I always wanted to be the good hero, not like a domineering alpha, you would say. Not like the big dog. I just wanted to be the hero, the good guy. So anyway, that's enough about that. But so Cesar Millan came along. My heroes were always the dog, or I'm sorry, the animal people, like the crocodile hunter. And this is just when you're younger, high school, college. I had a young mind for a long time. I was in college acting like a kid, and it's good to act like a kid. But some things have changed. But I still act like a kid, which is good. But my heroes, I would always watch Animal Planet, National Geographic, the lions, the predators, the packs, and my heroes, just like without even thinking about it, were always like, as a young kid, it was always the heroes and the warriors. But then as I got older and they came out with reality TV shows, it was like the Crocodile Hunter and Bear Grylls or whoever, and then of course Season 1 came out, and then that was like my new hero. So that was like, I was obsessed with Season 1. Everything he was saying, I was like, yeah, I felt like he was just bringing the truth to people who we have gotten as a society so far away from the truth, kind of, at times. That's what I feel like. I mean, depends on the person and the situation and everything, but he was bringing back the natural side that we all kind of know, like the instinctual respect and energy, communicating with energy, who we really are, and not so much words. And so I saw so much truth in that, and anyway, I became obsessed with that. That's that, and then I started the dog hiking business after college. I could get into all those little details later or something, but what I want to say is something I'm learning. So here's where I am kind of now. It's always going to change. My now is always going to be pushing forward and better and farther. But Caesar, a lot of it was like kind of forcing, and I wouldn't say it was a mix. It wasn't like just forcing, like I had in elementary school. My mom and teacher would have some sort of relationship and some sort of grading scale, because I was the crazy kid that like the teacher couldn't even teach the class, or it would be very difficult. And the question was with me was always like, how do I deal with this kid who is like a class clown, who just doesn't want to sit still? And I was just like so disruptive and having fun, because I was being a kid. That's just how I was as a kid, and I see that with the dogs. So that's why I relate to these dogs, problem dogs, and things like that. And so the question is like, and then I remember how different people would try to teach me, you know. And if someone was telling me, if a teacher was like trying to force me to do something, I'm just going to try to even force farther back. And the reality is, I'm not even going to respect that teacher who tries to force me into submission. You're never going to respect that. So this plays in so perfectly with all the dogs and everything that I'm doing with my life, because I've been there, kind of like I've been the problem dog, you know. And I didn't mean any harm, but so I know what gets respect and what doesn't. And I craved like crazy. I craved role models, especially as I went through puberty and all that, and became a teenager and grew up from there. I craved that like hierarchy, that pack, that respect, that role model. My dad was like a great dad, and I love him, and we have a better relationship now. But he was working so hard that he wasn't really, you know, he was just like working and kind of just not. He was kind of going through his own thing, so that was like not really where I was gonna get my hierarchy, my like dominant, um, you know, male energy or whatever you would call it. But I know what it feels like, and I know what it feels like. I know what it is. I know what it's not. I'm not saying I know it all. I don't. I absolutely for sure don't know it all. But so when I see these dogs, here's what I want to say. Kind of, I would respect more the teachers who would just kind of let me do what I wanted in a way. But then, there was kind of like that unspoken, deeper respect. It's almost just like who the person was, who they just be like if I crossed a certain boundary, they'd let me know, you know, and they let me know in a way that was like not a joke. It wasn't like a fake thing either. It wasn't like a planned out thing. It was just like they would. It's so like not. It's so like subtle and between the lines that it's kind of hard to explain. But I think most people probably will know what I'm talking about. It might just be okay, and you just never. So I went through anyway. What I'm talking about with the dogs, that's the way to be that I'm learning. Um, when you try to force a dog, now I'll just talk freely. The Cesar stuff, a lot of his stuff, like flipping the dogs, that's the equivalent in my mind of a teacher physically putting you and sitting you down in a chair. And you know what I'm going to do when a teacher sits me down in a chair? I'm not going to respect that teacher, and every chance I'm going to get, I'm going to push that teacher's buttons because they're getting frustrated, right? And you're going to keep pushing their buttons. Yeah, because in a way it's weakness if they have to sit you down and force you down in a chair. But if they're having your freedom and pretty much anything's okay, they're not. I think the key word is trying to control. If they're not trying to control you, you're going to respect that teacher more. And the same with the dogs. This is something I learned from Brandon, and it's kind of already a part of my awareness, but Brandon made it more. Brandon Fouche is what I'm talking about. He made it more very clear and explicit the way he spoke about it. He just said something on Facebook. I just read. It's like we need to stop trying to control our dogs. It's not about control. It's about letting a relationship develop and having that respect without trying to control. And I could feel it coming from Brandon as a person. It's just a respectable person. Something about him as a person, regardless of the action. Because when I was working with dogs, starting to work with dogs, it's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I work with people sometimes, just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. And it's a lot deeper than that, actually. And it's not always so easy because it's more like, who do I be? And it's like, oh, man, well, how do I change that? Yeah, I know. Well, a lot of that changes from an understanding, because once you have a different understanding, a different way of looking at things, who you are changes, the way you feel or vibrate, whatever you want to say, the way you vibrate, your vibration. Dogs communicate through vibration and energy, whatever you want to call it. So when the way you feel changes, and who you are is basically the way you feel on a regular basis, In a way. I don't know how to define who you are, but it's not my place to define who you are or who I am. Really, it's just um, that's a big question. But the way you feel, who you are to your dog, a lot of that is how you are every day, the way you feel to them every day, the way you feel internally comes out, and all those things. So that's what Brandon Fouche has shown me through example mainly, because like I said, he just the same way he is with dogs, he's not trying to control anybody, and but you get the respect. But it's almost like, how do you get the respect? Because you're not even. It's not because he's doing anything. It's just like you respect him because of who he is. And so that's how I am with dogs. And I just wanted to talk about that. I think that's worth talking about. Being the alpha, it's not like, I am your alpha, damn it. You're going to do what I say, and if you don't, I'm going to get really pissed. And I'm going to flip you over. And it's not about that. It's okay to freak out on a dog. And when I say freak out, I mean like get angry at a key moment. Just the same way as if I mess with a teacher the wrong way as a kid, the teacher might be like, hey! Or they might not have to raise their voice so much, but they might kind of get angry. And anger, if you look at nature, animals absolutely get angry. I mean, like if a dog comes up and tests another dog in the wrong way, they get mad at them, But so I forgot what I was saying exactly, but you can get that respect through key moments without. If you look at like a wild pack of lions or something, it's not about control. It's like pretty much like, hey, you want to go mess with the scorpion? Go mess with the scorpion. How'd that work out? Oh, it didn't work out so well. Yeah, you want to bite the porcupine? Go bite the porcupine. They pretty much just let them. It's not about control. It's not like you will do this, you will not do that. They pretty much go and do what they want, and then once they get out of a certain perimeter, the mom might go pick them up and bring them back and bite them on the neck, and that's like, don't do that again, But for the most part, you can do what you want, and so that's a big thing for me that I wanted to share. It's not about control. It's not about control, and that helps you with everything in relationships, everything. Because with people, and also everything. Because it's not about control. You can't control. First of all, you can't control the behavior of another person anyway. But with dogs, it's really on that relationship level. It's about an unspoken respect, and so I want to make videos in the future on how do you get that respect. It's like, okay, great. It's who you have to be. You're talking about who you have to be, not what you have to do. And then how to basically dominate in a way that's not a forceful way, but it lets them know who's the more dominant one. And then once they have that understanding, that's the foundation for everything. And then you could add action to that. But that understanding is the basis of everything. And sometimes you will likely have to get that through partially they know because of who you are, your energy, who the dominant one is. They're going to kind of check you out. Who's this guy? Okay, he seems like could be the dominant one. And then basically a lot of times dogs that come into my pack, they don't really know if I'm dominant or not. For it might be the first day, but it might be 5 hikes in or whatever it is, until something happens where a dominant alpha, whatever you want to call it, is required to do something. And then I do that thing, and then they're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah, I thought it might be the case. I thought he might be the alpha, but now I know. And then basically all dogs at some point or another go through some sort of period, some sort of time where they get a correction from me. And I'm not talking about a physical correction. I mean just like there's a lot of different things, and this is where we could get into different things, like what am I actually talking about. This is stuff Brandon Fouche showed me also. A lot of that stuff is from him. Things like chasing a dog. Go on, get out of here, move. Go on, get out of here, go, 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 go. You get the dog moving, and that triggers a feeling in them like, whoa, if you get kicked out of an area, you're not in charge, obviously, And then you could do things like throwing something down near them. Brandon throws like a phone book. You throw the phone book down near them. Hey. Um, Sounds kind of funny, but it's true, and it's not touching them and it's not making them afraid, but it's doing a powerful thing basically that gets your respect. When we're in the car at a key moment, I might bang the side of the door, bang the side of the inside of the van, and say hey in a certain way, and then block a dog from moving with my energy, and I don't touch them, and then they're like, okay. But a lot of it is we could talk about those things another time. But I just wanted to share that idea. That is basically the question. How do you have the relationship? How do you have the respect? Do I force my dog? What do I do? And so I just wanted to say a lot of it is not controlling your dog. Do this, do that, sit over there, do this, da da da. A lot of it's like sit where you want, lay where you want. If you do something I don't like, I'm gonna let you know. And a lot of it is a really high level of respect, where you're respecting the dog and you're not forcing them to do things, but you are disciplining or dominating when the time is right, in such a way that that allows the relationship to go on peacefully, and that you have to do that very minimally. Like with my dogs in my pack, they all know that I'm in charge, and they know that I'm not going to make them do anything. They could pretty much, I'm here for them. They're here to have fun and just like hang out, and we're all living happily ever after. But they do know that when I'm needed, I am the one. And so that gives a peace, and that's what lets packs function. Packs in the wild. We all have different ways of organizing ourselves, and as people it gets more complicated, but that's all good too as people. But with dogs, they like having that one, and they have the hierarchy too, and the whole hierarchy keeps everything stable. But that's it. I wanted to share that. It's not about control. A lot of it. Okay, number one, it's not about controlling your dog. Force. It's not about forcing or controlling. Number two, a lot of it is about who you are, not what you do. And number three is as a little attachment to number two, being who you are. I would say it's about doing less in certain things in key moments, and not trying to over control your dog. And just being so much more natural. We try to force everything. We try to this, blah, 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 blah. Put the kids in the class, make them read this book. They're gonna do this, or they're gonna get spanked. Blah, and things we're coming out of that, but it's not about that, in my opinion. And if you look, it's so cool, because if you look at the companies that are becoming less hierarchical. I just watched a documentary on this. The companies that are becoming more free, they flourish. The countries that are more free, they flourish, because freedom, it works. I was just watching. Gore-Tex is a company. Whole Foods. These companies, they allow it's not like force. You do this, you do that. Everyone gets. It's just a lot more freedom, a lot less controlling, and I think there's a really beautiful revolution, not a revolution, but a movement towards that basic freedom going on, and I'm happy to be a part of that, and I'm happy to be a student of it, and learn more about it, and hopefully help out people and dogs in the process. And I again want to thank everyone who came before me in every walk of life, who helped me to get where I am by just opening my computer and reading about it or whatever. And in particular, I'd like to thank Cesar Millan for inspiring me, and Brandon Fouche for really beginning to take me to the next level. People who spent their whole lives with dogs, and then I just get the benefits of that. So it's a beautiful thing. So anyway, I will see you in another video. Thanks.